Oh, do I need the headphones?
It's up to you.
Does it make you look more professional?
No. I don't feel like it does, but you can hear yourself then.
Oh, well let's do the headphones. Oh, yeah. Let's do the headphones.
Hey guys, this is Cassidy, and you're listening to Butt Dial, the podcast where we talk about all the things you said while you thought no one was listening. Today we have Miss Jana Plymel on the show. She works with, tell us about it.
So I work in home care. I've worked in home care for the last 11 years. I do all of the transitional care for patients from rehab, hospital to home. I help with the doctor's office referrals, just making sure that patients are receiving good quality of care at home whenever they need help the most.
Yep. And then they also, her and Dakota.
We have Black and Blue Q. That's a barbecue business that we have ventured into. We've been cooking for people for a few years now, and it's kind of taken off. So we bought a food trailer, and now it's getting everything legitimate and ready to go so that we can hopefully take that off also.
Hit the streets with that thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
What is y'all, do y'all have like an ETA as of right now, or?
So we have the trailer. It's officially at the house. We are going in October, and we're getting a smoker built by HBT in Alabama. So that will be finished in October 8th or 9th. It'll be finished. We'll have it applied, and then we will come home. We have all of the LLC stuff done. Then we're just going to wait on our little visit from the health department to make sure that they're okay with us. And hopefully, I'm hoping by the first part of November, we're going to be good to go.
For sure. And I actually, I had never ate anything that Dakota cooked until, the party at Vintage.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Why do you think I married him? I don't have to cook anymore.
Oh my God, it was amazing. And usually I'm one of those people who are like, barbecue's barbecue, whatever. But
yeah.
No, it was freaking good. So once they're up and running, or if you see them cooking at any event around town, you need to make it a point to go. But anyways, we're going to get into kind of some healthy little topics here that are probably going to be a little controversial, but what better to talk about than controversial things, because then y'all can weigh in, and all opinions, thoughts are welcome. We're not here to argue with anybody, but this is solely what we think. One of the things that are pretty controversial is bullying. And is there a level of bullying that is needed or okay to have in society, especially with kids? We both have kids, and they're very active in the community, things like that. But do you think that bullying, to an extent, is okay and maybe even needed to keep a level, you know what I mean, a level playing field in society?
So kids today are soft. I am pretty sure my mom killed me when I was 7 one time, and then I came back and she told me to walk it off. Honestly, yes, there's several different types of bullying. They're defined in categories. There are the bullies who they're just picking on people to pick on people and to be mean and just be little shits. And that's not okay. You shouldn't be going to school telling someone, hey, you're fat. Hey, your mom's this. Hey, your dad's in prison. That's not cool. But then there's another type of bullying where it's not even bullying. It's having a strong, dominant personality, and that can be confused with bullying. I have 3 kids. One of them who, for the longest time, I wasn't sure if she was going to run a prison gang or run a Fortune 500. And I'm still bordering that, but I'm thinking more along the Fortune 500 line now, or I'm hoping so. And then I have 2 that are they're soft, but they're starting to understand that life is not fair. Life is going to throw punches, and you have to be ready for that. So I often think it does, it is definitely more acceptable now for bullying, which I don't agree with, but it also starts at home. You don't know what some of these kids are going through either. It doesn't give them an excuse to come to school and to be mean to people, but I think a lot of it does start at home. Is it starting with a family member who is just being mean to them? Is it starting with the lack of a family member present, but just being mean to somebody? No, that's not cool. Yeah. But taking the lead on different things, taking the lead on a project, just having a strong personality and trying to be the alpha. Like, no, that is confused with bullying. People think that, oh, they're just being mean to me.
And really, they just have a deep personality.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes people need to embrace that, because, listen, if someone wants to take the lead on a project, please feel free to do so, because I am not the one.
Seriously. And I think, like, personally, I think a level of bullying at school is something that helps keep the school ecosystem, if you will, at a healthy area. Like, if this is going to be controversial, but for example, if you have kids who are, and really this is somewhere the parent should step in, but if it gets missed, like, this is just preparing them for life, in my opinion, because life is not easy, life is not nice, and if they don't experience it by middle school, they will definitely experience it in high school. So the sooner they get it, the better, and my kid included. But if you have someone walking around, like, telling people that they're a furry or whatever it is, that strange things are happening in the world, they're wearing tails or whatever, like, I think there should be a little bit of, like, dude, what are you doing? I'm not saying, like, they should get beat up. I'm not saying someone should, like, make them feel like they need to go do something harmful to themselves, but someone should be like, dude, what are you doing? And then, like, I just think it keeps a healthy level of what's okay in society and prepares them for the world. Because, I mean, like, realistically, if like a hawk was to come out of the sky and eat somebody's kitten, yeah, part of you would want to save it, but the other part of you would be like, no, like, we need to let them do that for nature, because, like, if the hawks don't eat, then this happens and this happens and this happens.
Are you fixing to start playing the Lion King? Because, I mean, it's a circle of life. Like, yeah, it's true, though. Like, if I'm wearing a tail and ears to work on any other day but Halloween, like, I'm going to get looked at like, are you okay?
Yeah.
That is a huge topic right now at school. And, you know, Dakota and I we're very similar. I'm definitely the nurturer more so than what he is. Sometimes I have to tell him, hey, remember, you're not in the prison anymore. Like, you can't treat the kids like inmates.
Right.
But he told the kids that if they came home and said they were a furry or started acting like one, he said, I swear to God, I'll put a litter box on the floor and make you use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on the porch. You're going to go outside to go to the bathroom. And their eyes just all kind of got big. And I said, I'm guessing none of us have to worry about that. And they're like, no. He said, and I'm going to put your food down there with the dog's food. He was like, yeah. I refuse. Like, yeah. So sorry for anyone.
I feel like that's a parent's responsibility, is to step in and be like, you know, hey, honey, I know this is probably something that you're excited about, but this is really weird. This is not what you do. And then I feel like when parents baby that mentality and thought process, then they get to middle school, and that's when kids get really mean. And then if they don't get really mean to them by then they get really mean in high school. And then you have this kid who feels like, but my mommy says it's okay. And then they come and they shoot up the school because they're mad at everybody. So I feel like there's a healthy, and not everybody, that was, like, you know, the most extreme thing that could happen. But I feel like if they would have got that healthy level of bullying to begin with, to kind of cut that, then maybe it would have prevented them from further hurt in the future, and made them realize, like, hey, I should probably only stick a tail in my pants whenever it's Halloween. Not all the time.
No, not all the time. It's definitely, it's not acceptable all the time. Yeah, and it definitely, it starts at home. It starts at home that you can tell your kids, hey, that's really not cool to be doing. Like, you're gonna be picked on for that, because at the end of the day, we're adults. We know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. We know what's going to get them picked on. We know that's our responsibility to know that stuff. We've all been through it. Like, middle school, oh, God, that was awful. I don't even want to think about it. And, like, I have one in 5th, 2 in 6th right now, and with the schools being separated the way that they are, it is a little different. But, I mean, 5th through 7th grade, I don't ever want to relive those days again. Like, it was awful. And I tell the kids all the time, like, kids are mean. They really are. And especially, like, the girls. I'm like, girls are just...
They're worse. They
are backstabbing, two-faced, lying little heifers. Like, you will think that someone's your friend, and then they really aren't. You know, it's just not. You have to be the one to mold them and guide them and tell them, like, yes, you're going to get your feelings hurt. Somebody is going to be mean to you. That is part of life, but you can also do things to prevent that and let's face it, there's certain things that, you can just be like, listen, it ain't happening.
Yeah, and I think that's okay to do. I think a lot of parents now are scared to correct their kids because DCF or whoever gets involved and da 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 da. But like, you need to correct your kids. You do. And I also think that,
who's scared to correct their kids?
I'm not. Ask Kyla. She'll tell you I'm mean in a heartbeat, but I swear it's from a place of love. But I also think that, like, the kids who come to school and they're just outright mean. And a lot of times it is because of something going on at home or whatever the case may be. But I think that those kids, like, I hate to say this, but like, if somebody would punch them in the mouth, they'd watch what they say. And then they'd grow up to be adults that are like, hey, I can't say that because I'm going to get punched in the mouth. And then you have a culture that knows, like, everything you do has a consequence. So you need to make sure that you're doing actions that don't reap like a terrible consequence that come with it. Not kids that are, Facebook thugs and then in real life getting shot because no one got punched in the mouth to save them from getting shot.
Oh my God, yeah. And like you said, people are scared to correct their kids. They're scared to parent their kids. I can tell you what is wrong with part of the adolescent population is they have not heard a piece of leather sliding through 7 Levi belt loops like we did, because I can tell you it only took a few times of me having to hear that whoosh noise, and I'm like, oh buddy, I'm in for it today. And I am not one of those, like, no, you don't beat your kids, but whenever it's time for a spanking, sometimes that's the only way to get it across to them. And whenever they're just being a little shit, all right, you want to act like a little shit, I'm going to treat you like one. And usually it gets the job done. I mean, we've had to do a few, and knock on wood, hasn't been any time recent, and I hope not to, because it breaks my heart to have to do it too. But
oh yeah, that's one of those things, like, you have to be tough in front of them, and then you go in your room and you cry
and cry it out because you're so sad, like, oh my God, I just had to do that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, you tell them, hey, this is what happened. Do you know why it happened? And when they give you the good reason that their mind is able to process, you say, all right, go play outside. And it's over. We leave it be. But yeah, that is definitely the problem. I come from the generation where we got spanked with whatever was
in reaching distance,
whether it was a spoon, a flip-flop, a belt, it didn't matter.
We had, my mom would grab the plastic hanger. And let me tell you,
like Stepmother.
It was bad. So my grandma's house, when we were there, it was set up like the layout's like a circle. So I would just run around the circle until Mom gave up. That's probably what's wrong with me. She never actually caught me. But anyways, we all survived. I think there's a healthy level of parenting there. I'm not saying go give your kids black eyes. Please don't do that. I will report you. But parent your kids. Another thing that I hear a lot of, and I mean, like, I'm even guilty of saying it sometimes, and then I try and quickly correct myself. But like in school and everywhere, a lot of times people are feeding children this idea of, hey, you can do whatever you want. And yes, they can do whatever they want. They can be whatever they want. They can be as successful as they want. But I feel like a lot of kids now, especially with phones and social media and all the ways of getting instant gratification that there are now, I feel like they don't realize, like, hey, yeah, you can be whatever you want, but at the same time, you have to work for whatever you want, versus you're not just going to roll out of bed and be, an engineer or a scientist or anything. Like, you have to get up. My kid included, she hates homework. She hates practicing for cheerleading. She hates practicing for anything. She just wants to play on her phone because it gives her like that instant level of dopamine. And I'm like, you have to get your ass out of bed and you have to do something productive, because if not, you can't live here, because you have to have a hobby or a sport. That's your job while you're a child. But anyways, what do you think about the you can be whatever you want, honey?
So yes, you can definitely be whatever you want. However, as they start getting older, they need to realize that there are expectations that come with being with whatever you want to be. Success isn't built in a 40-hour week. My job requires me, I'm literally on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday. I mean, I'm usually on the cruise ship trying to find Wi-Fi so that I can at least answer a few emails, just because it's bred into my DNA. I wish I could turn it off, but I can't. A lot of kids have the expectation that you can literally just walk into somewhere and you're going to be given the top paying position. No, bro, it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of eating crow. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of doing what you really don't want to do. And it is like, I mean, each year with the ages that come, at the age of 5, you want to be a dinosaur. Okay, cool. You can be a dinosaur. Like, let's walk around acting like a T-Rex, doing all that good jazz, whatever.
Right.
But, you know, like Olivia right now, she wants to be an OB nurse. She wants to deliver babies. She wants to play D1 softball. And I told her, that's great. However, let me tell you, that whole wanting to sleep in until 10:30 on Saturday is not going to get you a D1 school scholarship, okay? You need to be out there throwing. You need to be out there catching. You need to be out there swinging.
Yeah.
And like Kylie, she's my kid that kid's going to cure cancer, but she's going to trip on her feet or ask Olivia which way she's got to turn to get there. So, and Ben, he's still just kind of...
He's young still.
He's young, but I'm not making excuses for him. He still has the same expectation that the other ones have. But they, you know, it's the same thing with them, though. They don't like homework. And I'm like, you know that becoming these professions... you've got to at least read a book.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to at least, because their biggest thing is like they want to slack on their reading. And like, while I understand you guys have been at school for 6 hours, 30 minutes of reading is not going to kill you, because wait until you see these textbooks you're going to be getting in the next few years. Like
brutal.
It's awful. Oh God. And then I told him, I said, I remember my first college paper that I wrote. It came back with so many red marks that I'm pretty sure it came from the Bic red pen factory itself. Like, I went home and
you had
cried.
the test paper for each pen.
Yeah, like I went back home and I cried. But no. I worked with someone at the time. He went to school at the University of Florida, and he said, oh, it looks like my first college lit paper. He said, let me help you. And the next one came back. Guess what? We only had 3 red marks, and we had a B. So I tell them, like, that's the problem, is so many kids now, they're told that you can be whatever you want to be. While that's true, guys, it takes a lot of hard work. There's expectations with everything, and so many kids, like, I'm sure that some of my kids' friends think that I'm just awful when they come over, because I'm like, hey, the dishwasher's not going to unload itself. Yeah. Hey, the trash is full. Hey, your room looks like the hurricane went through it and you've got rats living in it. I'm going to need you to take care of that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure their kids are probably like, God, she's so mean. But in the same time, I'm walking by, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you too. And it's like, okay, not doing too bad, I guess.
And that, so like you said, there's like different levels to this, obviously. Like, I'm not going to tell my 1-year-old, hey, like, you can be whatever you want to be, but you got to work. And he's going to be like, what? Like, what are you talking
What's
about?
that?
Yeah. But like now Kyla, she's 7, about to turn 8. And it's like, I'm starting to have to guide her. Like, hey, baby, I know you really want to be, you want to stay on this elite team, and next year you want to go to a level 2 elite team. Okay, well, we got to start working your tuck. And she's like, but I don't want to go outside and get on the tumble track. It's hot. And I'm like, okay, well, then you must not want to go on a level 2 elite team. And she gets it, but she still is not to the point yet where she's ready to apply. Like, the goal is not big enough to get her off of her butt, essentially. And so that's like something parenthood in that I've been struggling with, is just getting her to have motivation. So if anyone has any tips, I'm open to them. Feel free to drop them in the comments, because threatening to take her phone or whatever does not work anymore. She's like, I know you're gonna give it back. Like, whatever.
Yeah, you're not hurting anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's true. And it also comes to, I think, with age, because like you said, I mean, she wants to do it, but the comprehension and the motivation's not there yet. And Olivia kind of got a dose of that, because she's wanted to play travel ball. Well, she went straight out of Babe Ruth into travel ball this summer, and she literally practiced all summer long, twice a week. And meanwhile, Kylie and Ben are on their breaks, because Ben was not playing ball. Like, his season was over. Cheer was over for Kylie. Gymnastics wasn't in. So they're like getting this full-blown summer break, whereas Olivia's like, shit, I gotta go to practice, really? And then she had a breakdown one night, and she was like, I just want to be able to enjoy my summer. And I said, all right, if you want to enjoy your summer, if it's that bad, then we just won't worry about it anymore. Well, I didn't mean that. And I'm like, well, then what do you mean? Like, you've went on vacations. Like, the only difference is you have expectations twice a week and they don't right now. But guess what? Their little worlds are fixing to change too, because cheer and ball are right around the corner. And then guess what? It's not going to be just poor pity me. And she's like, I guess you're right.
Yeah. And she is to the age that she understands it. And Kyla, and this is something I need to work on, because Kyla's on a cheer team, and last season she was the youngest on her cheer team. This season she's one of the youngest. And so I'm comparing her, which you're not supposed to compare your kids, but I do. I'm comparing her to like these 9-year-olds. And these 9-year-olds are obviously much more mature than her. Kyla's very mature, but still these 9-year-olds are much more mature, and they can see the end goal a little better than Kyla can. And so I have to like remember that, but at the same time I'm like, dude, Kyla, like you gotta get up. Like, you gotta get up. Come on. Like, I'll go outside and practice with you and break my neck, whatever. And that still doesn't get her off the couch. Like, she does not care. But I think what I'm getting at is I think there are ways to better say this to your kids as they get older. Like, hey, you can do whatever you want, and I'm going to support you through whatever you want, but you also have to put the work in for it. And this is going to change, every year, every 6 months, every new maturity level, every new step, every time they have a new life experience. Like, this conversation is going to change and evolve, and then hopefully it's evolving at the same speed that they are, so that they can really wrap their mind around what's going on. And by the time they are adults and pushed out into this harsh world on their own, they know, like, okay, it's college. Do I really want to go party till 3 a.m. and make poor choices? Or do I want to go study and make sure that I get the degree that I'm going after? Because that F is going to be a lot harder to get past, especially when my mom finds out that she's paying for, tuition. Yeah. And I'm failing. Than this party that's going to have no good benefit. So, I don't know, just my food for thought. Something very near and dear to my heart. Participation trophy. This one feeds into like the other two in their own ways. I think participation trophies are ruining the world. It's ruining expectations. It's ruining kids' drive, and I personally think they're terrible. And I'd rather you give my kid nothing. If it comes down to, that's my dog. If it comes down to like my kid getting nothing or a participation trophy, please give her nothing and tell her, hey, if you want to win, do better. What do you think?
Oh my God. Listen, this is a whole rant in itself. Okay. We do not do participation trophies in our house. I'm the same way with you. You don't get a participation trophy just for trying. Like, you don't get anything in life for just trying. You have to earn it. And that's my biggest thing that I tell the kids all the time. Like, okay, there's a first place and there's a second place. Anything after that, you don't get anything. Like, it's not, you should not have the expectation that just because you showed up, you're getting something. No, that's not how it works. And that is one thing that I really do like about travel ball is you can sit there and play 5, 6, 7 games, and then you can still go home with nothing and talk about a kick in the nuts. Like, you've been there for 7 games and then you come in 3rd place. But guess what? It gives them that much more to try for the next go round, because one weekend you're not going home with a ring, but the next weekend, guess what? You're going home with a ring, because you're like, I am not sweating and playing in the rain and walking back and forth from fields and not getting anything to show for it. And that's one thing that I really do like about it. So many kids today is they do, you get a prize for showing up. I mean, I get a paycheck because I show up to work, but I don't get anything else out of it. Like, it's expected of me to show up to work. Like, yeah. I'm not going to get anything extra by just showing up.
In my mind, this is the same. So, like, if you were applying for a job and I was applying for a job, you got the job, I didn't get the job. Well, you're going to get a paycheck because you won.
Yeah.
They're not going to send me a paycheck. Like,
no.
That's not how life works. Like, not everyone, they're not going to say, hey, you came to this interview, you did great, but you didn't quite make it, but we're still going to send you a paycheck this week.
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
It'd be freaking nice. I just go on interviews my whole life and intentionally flop them.
Okay.
But I think this sets up just super unrealistic expectations of how life is going to go. And then you have these kids who they hit 16, 17, 18, and they start realizing they go from everything they do gets them a trophy, an award, a win, a pat on the back, a like dopamine high, to getting nothing. And now they're miserable adults who are, hating their life on all kind of medicine to try and keep them happy, when really they just need to try harder. And that in itself could be a whole podcast on my thoughts on finding the underlying issue with what's going on with you to fix it. But I really think it starts with the fact that when you're a kid, everyone's saying, oh, everything you're doing is perfect, honey. Well, it's not. Like, go try harder. If you lost, well, then you better like have the oomph to go kick their ass next time and to practice in the meantime.
Yeah, no kidding. That's what I tell the kids too. I'm like, you guys have to toughen up. Like, it's not just going to be handed to you because you're there. No, you've got to work. You've got to dig. You have got to show up and show out. There is no, oh, I showed up, so guess what I get today? No, ma'am. It doesn't work that way. You have to try. You have to want it. And nobody else can want it but you. And that is one of the biggest problems with our society now, is everybody is feeding to our kids that, oh, you came today, so you deserve this. I didn't get a sucker because I went to work.
No.
Like, I got told, hey, did you get this email done? Oh, maybe. Hold on. It's still in my inbox. Let me get it taken care of for you.
Yeah.
This isn't like you go to the doctor's office and you get a shot and then you get a sucker because you don't cry. No. You have expectations. It's to get your ass up and go do the best that you can. And I'm not saying, Christy Cornwell told us one time, because one of the kids was struggling and she was like, hey, listen, C's get degrees. And I thought Dakota was going to die. And he was like, not in our house. And she said, Dakota, sometimes that's literally the best that they can do. And I said, she's not wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that you just need to flop out. No, but if you are trying, because God knows algebra, that was literally like the C was getting me the diploma. Okay. That 78.2 was coming in clutch because it was just not happening.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying, I tell them, I'm like, C's are not my expectation for you. No. But if you are literally trying, like we are sitting here, you are doing it, you are doing extra credit, you are doing whatever it takes to keep that grade up, I'm not going to hound you about it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to just be given a B or given an A so that you can be passed along. That was one of the biggest issues with COVID, in my opinion. Like,
oh, they were just passing everybody and everything. Like, here, just go on to the next step.
Well, yeah, because
you don't really have
like
to do it.
COVID happened during Ben's kindergarten year. And he missed like all of those kids. And I've even talked to a lot of the teachers about it, and they call them their COVID classes because they're all so behind. Like Ben, like he missed that whole second half of kindergarten, which they're learning so much. And I remember his first grade teacher was like, Jana, it's going to be okay. We're going to get him here, because he went into first grade and like she had, I think, 18 kids in her class, and like 9 of them couldn't even hardly read.
Oh, goodness.
And like, while I understand they did what they did, but then it's still having the long-term effects, because you have seniors or you have juniors that they miss that whole second part of their year that they were already struggling in. You hand them a Chromebook and you say, here, do it. And then you just pass them along, and it's like,
yeah.
But they don't understand. Like they.
And then here's my thought. So like, say this happened to, I don't know, just any grade level. Well, then they get to the next grade level or the next grade level, and those teachers aren't going to be light on them. Like they especially now that like a couple years have passed since COVID, they don't give a crap if they're the COVID class or whatever. And so like that's what sucks, and that's why like if there's something that's bothering you, like you have to keep showing up, you have to keep getting better. You like. My rule is like every day get 1% better. If you can just get 1% better, that's going to compound, and you're going to be great. You're going to be however many days are in a year? That's pathetic.
365.
I was going to say 56. I'm glad I didn't say that out loud. But if you get 1% better every day, like that's 365% better every year. And I think that's a big thing too, is that you need to be your own biggest competition. But at the same time, like, I want to get better. Like, if someone beat me at anything growing up, not only did I want to get better, but I wanted to absolutely like smash their face in next time I did it, to where it was like
annihilate them.
Yeah. But I've always had a super like competitive personality. It's bad. But like you should if there's something like, there's things like, I was not literature. Oh my God, you could not have paid me enough money to enjoy literature. But I put my face in that stupid book and read all those stupid things and tried to understand it and whatnot, and did my best and did everything I could to keep getting 1% better. And by the end of the year, like I was doing, like I passed. And I knew that was the best for me. I knew I probably would not be, top student by no means, and that didn't happen. But at the same time, I did want to kick their face in too. But I just knew it wasn't going to happen. But just keep getting better, keep working for it. You can't just sit around and I didn't just sit around and expect to get an A, even though I was doing nothing to get any better. And I just think that's a big like life lesson that people need to hear and need to listen to and need to understand, because like adulthood is not easy. Having a career, whether you're working a 9-to-5, whether you are an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, like it's not easy. Like for real estate, an example, I have my license, but if I just got my license, I wouldn't get paid. Every day, like I have to show up for myself and do what I can to ensure that I get a paycheck. And that I don't know. I guess the world just needs to realize that instant gratification is not everywhere, despite what your phone makes you feel like. So
true that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll stop ranting, but we would love to hear y'all's thoughts on these topics, and be looking out on Monday for another episode. However, we don't have any sponsors on the show. We grow the show by you sharing the show, so don't be a hoe. Share the show, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.